For centuries, the Yamazaki Empire stood untouched by war, not because it was loved, but because it was feared, protected by wealth, power, and unspoken alliances. High above the koi ponds and lantern-lit gardens stood Prince Renji, admired across provinces, envied by nobles, yet quietly bored by a life decided before he could choose it. But tradition is heavier than silk, and his father, the king, had grown tired of waiting for romance to bloom on its own. So 10 noble maidens were summoned from the most powerful clans in the empire, each carrying beauty, ambition, and their families' expectations. They knelt in perfect formation, layered kimonos shimmering beneath golden lantern light, each one rehearsed, refined, and ready to become queen. The first stepped forward with elegance, until her embroidered hem betrayed her and she nearly collapsed into the koi pond. The court gasped in horror, but the prince merely watched, the faintest flicker of amusement hiding behind indifferent silver eyes. The next declared her love through dramatic poetry so passionate, even the cherry blossoms seemed to retreat in second-hand embarrassment. Renji listened politely, though his thoughts wandered far beyond rehearsed verses and forced devotion. One maiden demonstrated sword techniques with fearless intensity, perhaps forgetting she was courting a husband, not challenging an enemy. Another laughed so loudly during tea that even the elders exchanged startled glances behind careful sleeves. One stood flawless and silent, beauty sculpted from ice, her composure so perfect it felt distant, unreachable. One nibbled delicacies between formal greetings, cheeks pink with sweetness and poorly hidden hunger. One trembled as she spoke, her words dissolving into the wind before reaching the prince's ears. Another carried confidence like polished armor, her smile sharp, certain she had already won. One radiated innocent warmth, gentle and glowing, though her practiced charm felt carefully constructed. And one observed from the shadows, calculating, patient, ambition hidden behind a delicate fan. But by then, the prince was no longer studying the noble daughters before him. His attention drifted instead to a quiet attendant in faded blue silk, moving softly through the hall with tea and lowered eyes. She stumbled only slightly when he turned unexpectedly, their shoulders brushing in a moment far less dramatic than fate, yet far more dangerous. In that brief exchange of glances, something unspoken passed between them, curiosity untouched by politics. The court noticed. Whispers spread like wildfire behind painted fans and polite smiles. And from his elevated throne, the king watched with a gaze sharpened by experience and suspicion. That night, beneath a restless moon, Prince Renji walked alone through lantern-lit gardens, questioning whether duty and desire could ever share the same path. Under the cherry blossom tree, she stood in quiet thought, unaware that her simple presence had unsettled an empire's future. Their conversation was cautious, layered with respect, yet beneath every careful word, something undeniably real began to unfold. Behind closed doors, powerful clans grew impatient. Their daughters had not traveled across provinces to be ignored. The final ceremony arrived wrapped in silk banners, glowing lanterns, and suffocating expectation. Prince Renji rose from his seat and began to walk, past silk, past jewels, past perfectly rehearsed smiles. Gasps echoed through the grand hall as realization dawned across painted faces. He did not hesitate, he did not falter. And he stopped, not before a noble heiress, but before the girl who had never intended to be chosen. With calm defiance, he extended his hand, not as a prince claiming property, but as a man choosing his future. The king's grip tightened upon his throne, then slowly released, understanding that even emperors cannot command the human heart. And so, beneath falling blossoms and a divided court, the moon he was never meant to reach became his queen.